Your friends, if they're not happy, they don't want you to be happy. That's why they're calling you up with all their crud. You think you're sharing and being close friends. No, you're not. You're not being sharing and being close friends. She's dumping all kinds of crud on you to bring you down so she doesn't have to feel alone. In this video, I'm going to talk about the level of bad mouthing that is going on in the world today. How acceptable it is to just destroy your husband or your boyfriend, blab and say bad things about them to family, to friends. If you have a terrible boyfriend or husband, break up with them and move on. But if you're with someone and this is what you're doing and you think that's cool, it's not. There was a time when your reputation and your family name were important. And if this got soiled or trashed, you didn't really make out too well in the world. What happened to protecting the family name a bit and saying, hey, here's a novel idea. Maybe out of the thousands of good things your husband or boyfriend did, how about talking about one or two of those? Never mind, he did this right, that right, this right, that right, and all these wonderful things. No, it's not cool. It's not as much fun. We've taught women to just complain and complain and complain. Like, that's sharing, and that's friendship, and that's having a personality. Well, it's not. It's not. It's not great. It's not cool. I know women who just totally 100% thrive on negativity, and their friends just call them to give them all the negative updates about that, this bad, and that's bad, and this is going wrong, and this guy did this, and this guy did that. They don't want to share anything good with each other. Why not? They're all into manifesting, but they're just blabbing all day about the terrible things. I don't care if I destroy someone's reputation. I don't care if I get on the internet and maybe people at his job see this. Never mind his family. Why do this? If you're unhappy or that unhappy, you have to trash the crud out of someone. Move on. There's a novel idea. They're really that bad. And yes, I know that's exactly what a lot of people do. Oh, this guy I suddenly just met on a dating app is super handsome and he doesn't make mistakes like my husband who I need to divorce. He's 80% great, my husband, but he did 20%. It's missing. How about going and telling your people in your family, your parents, your kids, so-and-so's a good guy. He did this for me. He did that for me. Again, he's looked out for me. Yeah, we've raised this generation of people just so focused on negative and complaining and trashing each other. It's completely acceptable. It's what's called friendship. Get together with one of your girls and just spew a bunch of negative nonsense for an hour. Oh, I feel close to her now. We're both addicted to negative emotions and we just feel so warm and fuzzy with my negativity. And she gave her negativity to me and I gave her negativity. And then she calls me up during the day and then gives me some more negativity and I just soak it up like a vampire. This is your life, sharing negative junk. And don't write me like, oh, people need to, talk about stuff. Yeah, people are gonna make mistakes. If the mistakes outweigh the good stuff, yeah, you should move on. But maybe you're focusing on different things than you should. And maybe you should tell people good things about the person you're with and you're sharing your life with. And maybe if you were bad mouthing that person, you should take some responsibility and make things right. Instead of blaming them. Oh, they did something wrong. I'm going to blame them. I'll bring it up for all eternity and just make them feel bad about that. Your friends, if they're not happy, they don't want you to be happy. That's why they're calling you up with all their crud. You think you're sharing and being close friends. No, you're not. You're not being sharing and being close friends. She's dumping all kinds of crud on you to bring you down so she doesn't have to feel alone. Yeah, my husband, he's a jerk and blah, blah, blah. And he did this and he did that. It used to be that a woman would look out for your reputation and she would represent you well to the outside world because she actually cared about her kids. She actually cared about the men and her family and her association with your family. What about looking out for your kids? They have that last name. Oh, I'm married to the worst man on earth. My boyfriend's the worst man on earth. Never mind the thousands of things they did right or did good or supported me. I'm going to blab and, get on the phone with my friend and just share a bunch of negativity and just complain. That's not friendship. That's friendship. It's not friendship. It's terrible. Addicted to these negative emotions and feeling sorry for yourselves and feeling like victims. Yeah, it's not cool. It shouldn't be the dominant conversational subject matter for your relationships. Is to complain, is to say bad stuff, is to be negative, and is to badmouth your significant other and in turn your family name. I know we think, oh, we're sharing. I'm just sharing my life with someone. Nah, you're just complaining. You bought into a bunch of BS about, talking about your feelings. Are most of the feelings you're talking about negative? I know people, that's all they talk about. Bunch of negative bunk. They never feel good. They never have anything good to say about anyone. Negative, negative, negative. If you think your boyfriend or husband is the worst man on earth, maybe it's time you moved on and made some better choices. If the guy you're dating from your dating app, who's way too good looking, isn't treating you well, you ought to think about that. Why am I attracted to that? Instead of getting all mad, what about the other 100 guys who approached me who aren't supermodel? Maybe we should all stop being so shallow. What happened to that? Looking out for each other, loving each other, representing each other well to the universe. Take responsibility. If they are that way, leave them. If you singled them out and you didn't really paint the full picture of them, take some responsibility and make it right. Stop making excuses. Stop blaming them. Oh, they did that one thing bad. I'm going to blame them for the rest of my life and never make it right, never take any responsibility because I never do anything wrong. And if I do something wrong, I just say, yeah, well, I do stuff wrong, but I never specifically admit to the thing I did wrong. I don't like the way that feels, so I'll just say I'm imperfect sometimes. Never taking responsibility. How do you expect to be close to someone? How do you expect someone to trust you if you're bad-mouthing them behind their backs? Because when they find out about that, they're going to like, geez, can I trust this person? You definitely don't feel close. You're always on the stand. Do something wrong, I'm going to bad-mouth you. How about treating people well, And look, if someone is a jerk, and you talk to them and they're not taking responsibility and they don't change that behavior and they're predominantly, then you need to leave them. Be sitting around complaining all the time. Is the guy you're with really, is that husband, is that boyfriend, is he really the worst man on earth? You got to badmouth him. Instead of going to your friends and blabbing a bunch of bad crap, focusing on the one thing they did that you didn't like or that you interpreted this way or whatever it was, how about saying a couple nice things? How about maybe you shouldn't be discussing your relationship with everybody, including the entire internet? How about a little discretion? How about representing your family well in a positive light? Gentlemen, if you have someone in your life like this and you've spoken to them about this and they're bad-mouthing you to their family and friends and you never see their family and friends because they're bad-mouthing you to them and they don't like you, well, you have to think, how do I trust this person? Bad stuff is coming if they don't take responsibility and make things right and they don't represent you well. So when someone goes and takes all your stuff and drags you through court and saying all this stuff about you when the relationship is over, hey, you knew it was coming. Look how they took no responsibility for the things they did and the way they represented to you, why you were married and trying to work things out. Is she complimenting you? Does she say, hey, I love the way you did that. I love the way you treat me. I love that thing you did over the weekend. That was so nice of you. You treat me real well. If she's not saying that kind of stuff, she's probably thinking just the opposite. If you get into a permanent relationship with someone like that, how do you think it's going to go? How do you think when they're, trying to end the relationship with you? She's going to be telling the new guy she's got lined up, what a big jerk you are, right? And it'll be worse because she'll be done with you. Gentlemen, you will not believe the way you're being painted when you're not around. These are huge red flags, right? If someone's not representing you well to the world, they're not a quality person, no matter what excuse they come up with. And if they're enjoying your company for months and months and years, and they're not making something like that right, they're not putting themselves out, they're not going to that person who they badmouthed you to and said, I didn't really represent this guy well to you. Here's the kind of guy he actually is. And he made a mistake that one time, but he did this and this and this. And I know his quality and this. And this is why I'm with him all the time, because I love him and I think he's great. So I shouldn't have represented him the way I did. I shouldn't have said those things, because this man has proven again and again that he's a good guy. Fortunately, I was taught by my parents not to gossip, not to say bad things, and if your friends are negative, you are who your friends are too. If your friends are a bunch of complaining people who are constantly calling you up and telling you negative stuff, that's going to rub off on you. It's going to change your focus. It's going to change your thoughts. This is what I was taught. I was taught not to gossip about people. Remember that? Does anyone remember that? Today, it's like everyone is gossiping and then blaming the other person. I was taught differently. So when someone does something like this to me, it's shocking. And then I really know something about their character. So take these words to heart, everybody. Gentlemen, if you're dealing with someone who's doing these kind of things to you, you need to reevaluate. Pursuing your own interests and needs might be a lot better than putting up with something like this. Okay, tribe. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one.